I thought
Oh,
you
it's a
said
drink,
that you were
drink.
getting water.
I
just said drink.
I said drink. I changed my mind.
Did I say water?
That's okay. Don't worry about it.
You said water.
Mhm.
But this is wine. And
It's okay.
I was
Whatever
gonna
you want it to be. I don't care.
I was gonna pour myself more, but I put the cork back in, and I can't. I don't want to like get it back out because then I'll punch another hole in the other side, and then it's like me. So like I like sometimes I get drunk, or one time I got drunk on wine, and I was drunk enough to where I was like, oh my God, I can't recork this bottle. I have to finish it. So I drank the entire bottle of wine. So which for me is bad because I have like one beer and I'm like, woo.
Okay, so I'm Canadian. So my urine. Wait, you guys live in the United States, both of you?
Yeah.
Yes.
So my urine on average is stronger than your beer, in terms of alcoholic content.
I'm good on like not testing that though.
No. I'm not saying you should test that. I just said our alcohol content's that much higher. So on average, our beer is 2 to 3% more alcohol than yours.
That's lovely. Then I could get drunk faster and then stop faster.
Also, I live in the mountains, so my alcohol tolerance is like stupid high, right? So if I came down to ground,
have to do with
the elevation.
So elevation.
Interesting.
Yeah. So if you live high up,
well, that's what I was thinking, but I wasn't actually sure if that was actually like a thing. You know.
No, it really is. I one time I flew to Winnipeg, Manitoba. And it's flat. It's ground level. I legitimately could not get drunk. I just couldn't do it. Right. I got a mild buzz, and I was drinking a lot that night. And it took I'm talking honey liqueurs. I'm talking like vodkas. I'm talking like strong shit.
That sounds awful.
Yeah. It was.
Well, especially if you want to be. You know.
I didn't want. Actually, I didn't really want to be drunk, so I was kind of fortunate that way. Right. My friends in Manitoba drink like fish. I was actually to the point where it was just like, I can't get drunk, but man, I wouldn't be doing this if I could. What you guys are doing right now, because it was just like, holy crap, were they drinking, right? It got to the point where no, the worst experience I've ever had was when I was drinking in just a very dingy bar in the States. All they had was regular beer. This is the pre-craft era of beers. So I got bloated, not buzzed, not drunk, bloated.
Gross.
Because the alcohol content was so significantly less for me that it was like water. I just after a while I gave up and just went back to
You were
water.
just like full, but like
wait, so do you get a hangover if you drink that much, even if you don't get
No. My stomach did not like me the next day. It really didn't. Right, but when you so at this note, I'm a lightweight. Like I'm not like I wouldn't say like I'm going down one beer, but I'm not like a drinker. But because of where I live and how much how high up I am, if I go to ground level, I'm pretty much, and my alcohol content when I do drink here is higher than what you guys on average drink. So between those two, I have a ridiculous alcohol tolerance right now. Right, so it's like
I feel like if Leanne, if you came to New Mexico where I am, you'd get fucked up.
Well, I'm pretty low. Actually, I don't know.
I am. I know. I am. I can't handle alcohol in any way. I'm just a lightweight in general for inebriation. So
yeah, no, same. I think we're pretty low. I mean, I grew up like by the ocean, so you know, but not like ground, we're considered. Yeah. Well, we were on like a hill, so there was. I don't know what the actual like distance was there, or like the elevation was there. But now we're considered the low desert, and so I don't know. I mean, we're definitely above sea level though.
I'm at like 13,000 feet or something like that.
Yeah. So okay. So this is how this would work. If Abby came down to sea level, she would not be a lightweight. She'd actually be able to outdrink most people. Consequently, if you went up to where she was, one drink would knock you out, like hardcore. right? Because it's the oxygen levels in the air do actually impact that. It's again, I speak from experience. I've been on both ends of that. It's like I'm good usually for if on average, if I really wanted to, 5 or 6 drinks is what I can do. I'm at that point in my life where I don't want to do that anymore, right? 1 or 2 is enough. I don't need more than that, right? So if I'm going to have a drink, but if I'm gonna live at sea level, 1 drink can put me on my butt. If I live in the mountain, I come down to sea level. It's difficult for me to get drunk. Yeah. Not impossible, but it's difficult. Yeah.
This is gonna mess me up.
Yeah.
Google is so confusing me right now. It's saying that we're 39 feet elevation, but I'm like, wait, is this
probably true?
Yeah, it's probably true.
I guess.
I was actually opening my phone to Google it, but people message me and it distracts me. So that's why
I'm about 6,000 feet above sea level. That's where I'm literally in the mountains, right? New Mexico, the highest when I lived in Arizona, I was 7,000 feet up. So I was in the White Mountain area in Arizona.
Well, I'm only 57,000 feet. I don't know why I said 13,000. I don't even know.
Wait, 5,700.
5,700. My bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, wait,
no, that's still pretty high up. That's still pretty high up.
I'm an artist. I don't do numbers.
Yeah. I had to do this communications test, and like, we're going to test your English communication skills. Now, if so-and-so has this many of this, and someone has this many of this, I'm like, why am I doing math?
I don't like it. Yeah. Get it away from me.
I didn't like it. It was still mostly basic math, but I still didn't like it.
Yeah.
Did we ever like officially say? I feel like we didn't like officially say hi.
Oh, hi.
To start this. We were just like,
hi.
I'm drinking water. I'm being boring.
Yeah. I'm drinking mead, and Abby's drinking wine, and that makes Leanne technically the adult. Oh God.
Leanne, what did you say you were drinking?
Just actually water.
Oh, okay. And so I like how Leanne was like, we didn't actually introduce ourselves. We just talked about what we were drinking, and then we just talked about what we were drinking.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'll do the introduction here.
You do the introduction, yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, since if you missed the first 6 minutes of us talking about elevation and alcohol, this is Abby Butler, artist extraordinaire. As far as I can tell, she has no filter, which is awesome. And then her partner in crime, Leanne Kathleen Ingino, who's been on the show in the past. This time around, she brought a friend, and I told Abby off the air, whatever Leanne told you about me is probably true. Probably.
Yeah. I think all I said was
tells you about me is true.
Sweet.
I think I just said we might run long, so be prepared for it to go long. And that was like, yeah.
Did you? I don't know.
Maybe?
Okay.
Yeah.
So I guess I should ask some kind of question at some point here. So some point. But I think actually what I will ask is this, because you guys have seem like you've been friends for a very long time, or at the very least, you guys really click very well. So let's ask the fun question: how'd you meet?
Oh my God!
Twitter.
Do you remember? Yay!
Yeah. Because all my other artist searches on Twitter have not worked out. So
Twitter. We met on Twitter. Yeah. I haven't had any other relationships pan out on Twitter either.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird place. I'd ask for like a comic artist, and then I get all these illustrators. I'm like, you guys are doing great stuff, but
to be fair, I am an illustrator, and I probably was like 75% illustrator when I reached out to you.
That's true, but I think you knew what I was like, what I was talking about, what I was looking for. Yeah. You knew and I'd get I would get illustrators who would be like, I can do illustration. I'm like, can you do comic books though? And they're like, I'm like, okay, all right then.
Never mind.
And then there's just like that sad moment.
Or are you willing and you can learn it and
willing to try.
Whatever. Yeah.
See that's what is interesting to me about a lot of illustrators, I guess, is to me illustration is just a jumping off point for all of this fun stuff. I'm not stuck to it. I'll go back and I'll do illustration, but there's so many things that come from it that it's there's no way that somebody's here's how you do comic books, and I'm like, nah.
I like you. You again. You just don't have a filter, do you? like nothing. There's I think by the way, I think that's fantastic. I love people with no filters because I'll never not know where you stand. That is a wonderful thing.
It hurts people's feelings. It's fun.
Aww.
It can. People are actually it's interesting. A lot of people aren't used to honesty. And that's one of the things I really think. If you're honest with somebody, it actually throws people completely off because they almost expect you to be holding back, and it's like, nope.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Yeah, it's too much.
If your feelings are hurt, then sorry.
Yeah, I don't really think you're that sorry.
I'm never sorry. I'm so sorry. Yeah. I'm sorry that I'm not sorry.
Why?
Because I'm not sorry and your feelings are hurt, I guess.
But there's a total like difference between like cruelty and like just being honest, you know. They're not like the same thing.
No, I mean sometimes there's a more diplomatic way of saying some stuff sometimes. And that doesn't hurt. I'm not saying it should, like, you know. What I'm saying though is what I'm just laughing now a little bit.
What are you saying?
Yeah, no, I just remember all my fuck ups because again, I don't have I've become more diplomatic to some degree, but at the same token, I'm not afraid to speak truth to power either. It's like I just at the end of the day, I don't give a shit. Right? I'll be nice about it because I'm not interested in hurting your feelings. I'm interested in you hearing the truth. But if you're going to be a bit of a bitch, I got no problem turning the filter off. That's kind of how I look at it, right? If you're so fragile that you're going to run away at a little bit of me disagreeing with you, I'm going to be not quite as nice to you as if I'm like, okay, you're listening to me. I'm going to be polite. It's my inner Canadian. I'm going to be polite about it. I'm still going to tell you to fuck off if it comes right down to it, but I will try being polite at first. Does that make sense to everybody here?
No, definitely. Yeah.
Yes.
I have to be diplomatic for my job, so I kind of like filter everything through that a little bit. It's part of my job, so I gotta like, yeah.
I can't imagine, like, you do so much like different writing stuff. I feel like it's almost like you probably have to like change languages for
a little bit,
like when you're actually like working on a job versus when you're communicating with like the person that you're working for versus like the next job, like that.
Yeah, it is a little bit like that. Yeah,
that sounds terrifying to me.
Oh, you know, the social anxiety helps too.
Oh yeah, social anxiety is fantastic. So social anxiety just rules my life. Like that's why I said, like I'm super good at doing social media stuff because it's all like, okay, what are these people gonna think of me? And then I can kind of like isolate that part of my brain where that's like think about how they see you and be scared. And then I use that to create a voice for social media stuff. So anyway, yeah.
See, I have the opposite problem. I honestly, at this point in my life, barely give a fuck. I had like an epiphany.
That's my Twitter, man. Like I'm getting there. Like
no. I had an epiphany, and it was a wonderful epiphany. I had like during the pandemic, it taught me two very wonderful truths. I don't have to be for what?
Did you get a light bulb when it happened?
The second one was a kind of a light bulb moment. The first one wasn't. The first thing I realized is, wait a minute, I don't have to cooperate with anybody. That's a wonderful thing when you realize that, because that gives you actually unusual negotiating power, right? Mm-hmm. I don't really have to play your game.
Leanne, I see your face, and my thought process that would go with that face is, I am a woman. I have to cooperate.
No, you don't.
No.
No, you don't.
If you want people to like us.
I don't see. I thought that was the second.
For anybody watching, I don't stand behind that, but I see you.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
but see.
Although I do want to know if this applies to authorities, like law enforcement authorities.
Yeah.
It can, and I have. So I mean, it's again, and I have.
That sounds like an interesting story.
Yeah, well, no, it's just. okay, ultimately, so I've never committed like a serious major crime, and I always will try to be.
We're going into crime now. We're talking about crime now.
Yeah, totally.
It's a segue from alcohol.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm just being honest, but I've come to the point in my life, if like there's a lot of authority is ultimately intimidation, and frankly, I just don't have time for it. What the fuck do you want? Like, and that's pretty much
anybody like that, they get butthurt. So.
Well, no, but but the thing is, I've had I've been stopped by cops just mind my own business, and they get to the point where they try to be like super intimidating. And at this point in my life, it's like, look, just don't fucking waste my time. What do you want? Right? I don't care. I don't care if you got gun. Just what do you want? So we can just move on. I don't give a shit. What do you want? So that intimidating crap just doesn't really. It pisses me off, right? Actually, more than anything else, it pisses me off. So now it's just hits that point where it's just like, just don't waste my time. I mean, I'll be cooperative if it's reasonable. If I don't agree, I won't be so reasonable. And that's just, and again, I've hit that point in my life. I just don't care, which was the epiphany light bulb moment, actually, right? Which was this. It's not necessarily about what everybody else thinks, in the sense of I'm not going to worry about hurting people. I'm more worried about being true to myself. And the fact, right, it will push certain people away from me. Yeah. I accept that. I'm not here to get along with everybody. I'm here to be the best version of me I know how to be. That's it. I'm not going to worry about much else in this life, because honestly, everything else in life is fluid. People I meet, the people, like workplaces I'm at, the concept of staying put or having stability or safety is an illusion. So everything's about change. So the only thing that truly matters is, can I be true to myself in this time? That's kind of like that. That's what I've realized. And what I realized too is, for most of the world in general, at least in terms of civilizations, doesn't have very much integrity these days. So now that I realize that, it's like, you just don't matter. And this will probably get me in deep trouble down the road, and I'm very well aware of this. But I'm going to treat people the same. If you come at me with integrity and you're honest, I'll respect you. If you don't, I don't give a fuck who you are. I just don't care. And that's it might be my downfall, and I'm very open about it. But at this point in my life, I've seen the face of death. I've been sick in ways that most people haven't. I've survived. I've endured so I've had some really scary shit happen to me. At this point, what the fuck are you going to do to me? Right? That's pretty much it. Tell me what you want. Don't waste my time. Let's move on. I don't care. Right? So, and if you tell me, I might even cooperate with you. I'm reasonable, but I just don't care. Does that make sense?
I had a moment where you were talking about something about change. I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, just that we've all, like, during the last 2 years been like, oh yeah, stuff is changing all the time. It's like every other day.
Yeah, so I mean, change is the constant of the universe. And if that's the case, there's no such thing as safety or stability. It's an illusion. Yeah. So why try to cling to that when it doesn't really exist? Better to just embrace the fact that things change and that you will change. So what do you stand for? That's what really matters in this life. Are you doing what you love? Are you with people you love? Are you true to yourself? You know, I think at the grand scheme of things, that's all that's really important. The rest of it doesn't fucking matter. Like I said, I'm going to get in a lot of trouble down the road in my life. I can totally see it. But at the same time, I do
wonder if are Canadian police polite as a general rule?
If you've been watching the news the last little bit, no, not.
I haven't been. No.
Ottawa, the trucker convoy thing. The trucker convoy thing kind of came to a head this week. Earlier this week on Monday, basically over the weekend. The police came in and kind of by force eliminated the convoy. Now, it wasn't as violent as what's going on in Ukraine and the Russia are, but people got to get trampled on by horses. Pepper spray was used. Property was taken, and we actually declared a state of an emergency over over that convoy, which was kind of weird in of itself. Yeah, don't ask. It's a weird and long, complicated story, and I'm not really in the mood to talk too much politics.
No worries. Yeah, I'll have to catch myself up later because that's one thing, like not having cable anymore, is that most of my news is filtered through Facebook, which is not very good as like a general news source,
But believe it or not, Twitter can actually be a great place for news. Believe it or not. You can actually rig your algorithms, like the actual hashtags. Huh. You can find. Here's the beautiful thing about social media. Social media actually has this really ability to be. It's so fast. You can literally keep updated live if you want to. Like during the Freedom Convoy stuff, that's what I did. I didn't really want to go through the news network. Better to see it from people's, because lots of people were protesting. So there's lots of pictures, phones. There's all kinds of perspectives, and it's fascinating, but it's also in real time. So instead of doing a media news story with a spin, you can kind of just see the footage yourself and make your own conclusions, which is a much different picture than what you'll get on television, right? The fact that the internet exists, that social media, and that's actually a positive of social media, but it's not something a lot of people think of to use, right? Is you can use social media to legitimately, look up information, and it's surprisingly there are ways to do it, and it's interesting, right? So I'm wondering what Abby is drawing.
I'm just sharing the link because I'm like, oh, I gotta share the link. Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Shared. All right. That's why my eyes are going all over the screen because I'm not looking at you.
All right, it's all good. It's all good.
No.
But yeah, no, I just like, and here's the other weird thing. Like this is the other thing. Like earlier, I was talking about like separating yourself from people. When the pandemic started, I had like 800 friends on Facebook. Now I'm closing in on 2,400. So I must be doing something right or something wrong. I don't know. Yeah, right. I'll let you guys be the judge of that. But I've become more more honest about some things, and when I've done that, it's filtered some people out, but I've gotten way more people coming in. So I must be doing something right, so.
Last I checked, I've been going through my friend requests every couple of weeks because as I start to know more people in the comic community, I start getting more friend requests. So I filter through them every couple of weeks. And last I checked, though, I was at a 1112, and I was like, kind of want to remove somebody, so I'm at 1111, and then just keep it there and not,
You can do that. There are people that do that. It's kind of fun, right?
Oh.
So I'm very curious. I'm very curious, Abby. What are you drawing?
Axolotls.
I am not cool enough to know what that is.
That's okay.
The little are they a marine creature or right? Okay, it's not, but they kind of look like lizardy-ish. Yeah. But they're not like an actual lizard.
I don't really know anything about them.
And they're really small. I don't know how. Okay. I feel like I think they're really small. I'm not sure how big they actually are.
They're like me. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Like a lizard size.
They're lizard size. They're salamander size.
Yeah. That's cool. They're water salamanders. So.
They're water salamanders. Yeah. Yes.
That's kind of cool. I'll show you some of my terrible drawings later if you want.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually draw on the show from time to time. Right.
I'd stream, but I'd probably just go against terms and conditions. So I set my streams or whatever, my recordings to child friendly, and then I just cuss the entire time. That's what's really hard about teaching, because I've started teaching comics in the past couple of years as well. But I've taught enough adults, but it's mostly like the school system here is oh my God, you're a comic book teacher, come to our school. Our kids never get any art here, because at some point New Mexico was just nah, we don't need art as an elective, and then just took it out of schools. Mm-hmm. So they're trying to re-implement it into schools and try and get, because they're the New Mexico is the capital of the art in the Northwest or whatever, and it's not that way. like there's like most people just don't have access to it. So anyway, so I'm like teaching for the public school system, and it's been really hard because it's been mostly virtual. So I don't have like these kids in front of me. So and then so I'm just like sitting in my room and thinking about like all these kids are actually like the school that I'm teaching at right now, these kids are asking like super intuitive questions like, oh, so like how do you do your publishing, like how do you do like, and I'm like, you're in 5th grade, but then like out of one of the kids is like, oh, so have you ever worked on horror? And that got the entire school's like the entire class's attention. They're like, oh my god, yeah, have you worked on horror stuff? And I was like, yes. And they're like, oh, what kind of horror stuff? And the only horror that I've really worked on is legit like horror porn. So the kids are like, oh my god, tell us about the horror that you've done. And I'm like, I can't talk about that right now. And the teacher's like, yeah, we have to keep it cool for school. And I was like, yeah, cool for school.
So
the Cthulhu's like, I don't know, it's more comedy, but you know, it's got Cthulhu.
Yeah, it's like kind of like on that edge. So like anytime I mention Cthulhu stuff, I'm like, these kids, first off, these kids don't know what Cthulhu is. And then second off, H.P. Lovecraft is rated R. Let's be honest.
So I will warn you, that may not actually be the case. In this day and age, you might be surprised at what the kids will tell you.
No. I totally, especially here in New Mexico, these kids are exposed to some awful stuff. Like these kids, like I'm not even like, if it was their parents in the room, I'd be like, fuck yeah, like look at this horror report I did. But like in a school, like I can't do that because there's money, and I'm contractually obligated to not tell kids about sex. So, you know.
Like I said, it's always good.
I haven't seen these.
Paycheck's pretty fantastic. So, you know, at least for now, it'll go away eventually.
The what will go away?
The paycheck.
Oh, the paycheck. I haven't seen these pictures on Instagram.
What pictures? The horror porn?
Yeah.
She could be contractually obligated not to share the horror porn.
Oh no, I didn't share it because I'm color wired and I'm cute. Yeah. So.
Well, and I don't think it probably. Well, I don't know. I haven't seen them, but I'm guessing some of them are gonna not be Instagram approved.
It's amazing what you can get away with. You just got to be honest with your filters. Like, hey, listen, I'm doing terrible, terrible things on my drawing. I don't care.
Yeah,
you watch at your own risk.
I don't because like I actually have like a brand that I'm trying to like maintain.
Yeah.
What's your brand?
At least like it's easy for anybody to Google like my email is color wired, and that's how I like correspond with like all of the teachers in the district and stuff like that. So it's super easy for them to be like, let's look up color wired and show the kids the art. Right. So like and there's like a 75% chance that I run into these kids at a comic convention or something like that. And they're like, hey, miss, we saw the tits you drew. And sorry. But them say something like that in front of their parents. And then I'm like, oh, cool. I'm never going to work again. So, and it's not that I'm never going to work again. It's that teaching is paying my bills right now. So like I get it. It's an interesting quagmire, pun somewhat intended, or just like, but I understand. Like I do understand. There is a lot of people, especially up here, who they double lives. They have this nice presentation for business, and then they have like what they really want to do, and some of that's like it can be incredibly like, wow, this is your personality. It's like, yep. Yeah.
It's like the authors who do like I don't know what the term is, but like the hardcore romance novels, like the erotic romance novels. Erotica. Yeah, but then they'll do
what that was called.
Yeah.
No.
I'm like, I've got one of those right here.
So they'll do that, but then they also write children's books, so they have to have like separate pen names.
They do. Yeah. You can get around that with a pen name, and it's also because a pen name is also a bit of a brand. But yeah. I know quite a few romance authors actually. I'm friends with the romance community in Alberta. I actually ended up doing a show for them. They actually invited me, and I just interviewed a bunch of them. and they are some of the sweetest, dirtiest minds I've ever met in my life.
No, I'm super fun and cute, but like, man, I would. God, I want to try nudes.
But here's the thing: some of the 60-year-old women I interviewed for the thing,
you got to use a different
blushing red in like 30 seconds. They had me red, like they had me red, like they were that crass. It was awesome, right? I didn't expect it, and it just hit me. It was like, come on, guys. I think one of them, hey, listen, this is cut the bullshit. Show me your dick pics.
That's literally how one of the conversations. When I swipe right on somebody and they talk to me, which almost never happens, but like when I swipe right on somebody, I start super like crass.
Good.
And then if they dip, they dip.
Yeah, no, but see, I kind of like I dug it.
Wait,
like, there's no.
Does dip mean they leave the conversation? Or?
Yeah.
I'm like out of the lingo here.
I'm deliberate. I'm openly uncredible. I got what she's like. You basically. So Abby, you basically see. If I can scare you in 30 seconds, you're not worth my time anyway.
Yes.
Yeah, right. I totally get that. Yeah.
Yes,
yeah. If I scare you in 30 seconds, you're just not tough enough. But I'm just saying, like
try me, guys. Like, if anybody's watching this later, slide into my DMs. Try me.
I feel like this would have been good advice for like younger me.
I don't think you can actually scare me at this point. But I mean, it's still.
Try me.
Yeah. So can I ask what level of student is your average age range for what you teach?
Oh my God. They keep trying to bring me in for like second graders.
I can see why. You'd be good at that. You have the you'd be good at that. Like you would be really good at that. What?
Yes. I'm great at it. I'd be better in person.
But you might no, well
I want to do high school. If I have to continue to teach for the rest of my unnatural life, I would like to teach high schoolers because I feel like that's a really good age for that. Well, especially here. I don't know how it is in other cities, other states. Like I assume that New Mexico has a really, really low standard for education. Like you hear that from anybody that comes from out of state. So it's like, I want to be able to work with teenagers and put them in a position to where it's not like you have to do math. You have to go and do math or you won't make any money. You won't be successful. You'll work at McDonald's. Like my mom told me graduating high school, she's like, you'll work at McDonald's. And I was like, oh, great. I'll go do math then to prove you wrong. So now I'm doing art and my mom's disappointed, but like, it's mostly because she doesn't understand. But like, that was such like a tender age for me. Like you think of teenagers as being like acting out and stuff, but like everything you say to them is important. So to be able to go in and talk to kids at that age and tell them like, look, check this out. Like I got to, learn from this comic book author and speak to this comic book author. And then I got on Twitter and got a comic book job. Like you can do this. You can get paid and do art. Like you don't have to be miserable for the rest of your life. Like why? What are you doing? Like, and I realize that like I'm in a position right now where like I am way ahead of a lot of people in the American dream because I enjoy what I do. I get paid to do what I do, and I do it like 99% full time. Like I am an artist all the time. Like it's what I do. So, and a lot of people don't get to do that. So me being able to go into high schools and be like, look, check this out. Like, look at me, look at what I can do. You can do it too. Like, and honestly, like if you start now, you're going to have a leg up on this because I had to teach myself. Like I had to teach myself when I realized that I can't do math 24/7. Like I can't pass this algebra class in college to move out of my freshman year. Like I can't do that. And I can't be miserable for the rest of my life. So putting them in that position to do that, instead of just saying, you have these 5 things to choose from. Like, no, check this out. You can do animation. You can do comics. You can do illustration. And just be able to like, let them know that that is the age that I want to work for. Sorry.
No, it's not nothing to be sorry about at all. I've interviewed a lot of writers. I've interviewed or teachers as well. And it's your real job, honestly, as a teacher, isn't even so much the subject matter you teach. Your real job is very much, a lot of students need permission to go for things. They just need that encouragement to go, hey, you can do this. And that's what a lot of kids need. Doesn't matter what and actually even adults, a lot of adults need that well into life. I've done presentations and stuff because I'm a podcaster and I have a ginormously big mouth, as if you haven't figured this out already. But I'm good at it. And I can go out there, and I've made money as a podcaster. I've made money as a writer. I've made money doing all these different things. I'm not quite I'm at a living yet, but at the same time, I am making a decent coin being an artist, which a lot of people would be like, how? But I believed in myself. And one of the most powerful things a teacher can do is encourage a student to go for it, whatever that actually looks like. Honestly, that might be the most powerful thing you do as a teacher, any age group, because they all need that permission.
Abby, you just got to go knock on their doors. The teachers and the principals, not the students.
That's what I tend to do. Like anytime I talk to another teacher, like in the district, it's so hard to get into the school system. But like anytime I meet a teacher, I'm like, oh, what school are you from? Tell me about your art system.
So,
and they're like, oh my God, we don't have art. And I'm like, you're a media art school. What the hell?
What?
So,
like actually?
Kind of. It's pretty bad.
Wow.
It's pretty bad.
Wow.
So I lived in Arizona for a bit, and I was in the town of Snowflake, Arizona. There is really a town called Snowflake, Arizona. It's a long story.
There's a town called Hooker, Texas.
I know there is. Right. Anyway, one of the things that I realized is a lot of colleges ended up teaching a lot of basic rudimentary things on top of their courses, because students were going through schools in Arizona, at least in northern Arizona, without certain key prerequisites that would be common sense. I actually met more people up in Arizona who were teenagers that struggled to read, that were struggling to read. That is terrifying.
Like a New Mexico thing.
Yeah, no, it's about like I'm pretty sure Arizona and New Mexico are pretty close to the same level in education levels. I don't know which one's worse, but it's not by much either way, right? So
New Mexico by a lot, actually.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, sorry, I'm not trying.
Yeah, no, you would know. Like I haven't lived in Arizona in 10 years or 12 years out at this point. But the thing about it is, oh crap, no, 13 years. Damn, it's been a while. I'm old. But the
time
thing about
goes.
it was, yeah. But when I was there, it amazed me. It's the things I was taught in school up here. By the time I was in the 6th grade, I had the basic tools to solve problems on my own. And when I went to high school, I was taught a lot about critical thinking, how to look at things from from your own, develop your own point of view and how to solve your own problems. Now, the knowledge base depends on the education, what education system you're in. Kids today know more on average than we do with just the amount of information out there. But they don't have the wisdom, or at least they're not taught like the critical thinking skills, the key, like lack of art, lack of reading, the lack of these fundamental tools to create empathy, understanding, and the ability to question the world around them. Those things aren't there anymore like they were, right? And even like I'm just like I'm 40. Like for those people who are older than me, they had more tools than I had. Like these tools have been taken away from these kids. It's almost like it's designed for them to fail. And I don't think it's the teacher's fault. I don't even think it's the student's fault. It's just the nature of how the system has eroded over the years. My big thought.
I have too much empathy. If anybody wants to buy empathy, I'll sell it on Amazon.
Just honestly, if you want to do that, just like put like some kind of underwear or some brand called Empathy, and it'll sell like that. Done.
Empathy.
Yes, empathy. The one of a kind euphoria you'll never forget. Right.
Right. Oh my God.
It sounds like a perfume for sure.
It does. It totally does.
Oh my God, that's a bad idea.
Yes, totally.
That totally devalues empathy.
It totally does.
I've had this much wine. I'm done.
Oh,
it's all good. It's all
the
good.
only wine I have in the house is now vinegar. So,
yeah, that's why I have to drink mine fast because that's like a $3 bottle of wine. So.
Well, the red just gives me too much. Like American reds give me too much of a headache. So I know it sounds all fancy, right?
American
reds, right? Yeah.
This is mead, right?
Mead
this
is good.
Mead. Yeah, this is actual mead. It's a Legend company up here. A buddy of my buddies. He's testing it out. So each mead's a bit of a surprise. It's got a kick to it, which means it warms your blood. Which it gets to -40 here sometimes. That's not always a bad choice.
Yeah.
Right. So
as long as you're inside. That's like the only thing I remember learning in school is like, don't drink alcohol if you're outside in sub-zero climate because your body will freeze. That's all I remember from school. And something about quicksand.
Something what?
Quicksand.
Oh, quicksand.
Quicksand.
Well, I've seen some meme that was like, yeah, we all thought quicksand was going to be way more of an issue or whatever.
A way bigger issue, right? And volcanoes, like quicksand.
And tornadoes.
Except that volcano that erupted like a month ago?
Yeah.
In the middle of the ocean by I can't remember where it was. It did some damage over there, and there was actually like a little bit of a tsunami in Santa Cruz and like San Francisco.
I feel like California is just going to float away someday, though. Anyway.
Well, California might become like a sailboat. It might become a sailboat, like a giant ass sailboat. You just put a sail on it because it's.
Where's California today? Oh, over budget.
Yes.
I'm okay with that.
That's cool, right? Yeah. That'd be awesome to have like a floating, like.
I'd never know what time it is properly. I mean, I would because we have digital clocks.
Even harder. Then you could really make excuses for time zone stuff.
Yeah. I'm sorry I'm late. I was here.
Sorry I'm late. I didn't realize California was near Australia.
Oh gosh.
Well, it's like going through the same day twice. It's like, wait, what? I'm in Australia today, and then you head back east. It's like, what? It's still Monday. Like Monday in Australia.
No, that would be awful.
No, it could happen.
Oh, double Monday, please no.
It's an international date line deal, right? So you cross the international date line, it's like yesterday, and then you go back, it's today. So it's like you just follow, that would be like the.
I haven't read this book or watched the movie where like the cities they get up and the cities have like legs and they like attack each other and stuff. I can't remember what it's called. Anyways. I'm not.
Are you talking about Howl's Moving Castle?
No, it's like whole cities. It was a YA novel that got made into a movie, which I don't think the movie did great.
Probably not.
Anyways, this conversation is making me think of that, like continents that are just like, we're gonna move and bump into this other continent and then have
cool, but not cool.
But not like
Leviathans
cool.
Freak me out.
Well, no, we just call it bumper countries. The countries just bumping into each other like bumper cars, only just land masses, right?
That sounds way more stupid.
Yeah, I know. That was the whole idea. I wanted to make it dumb.
Just wanted to make it
like lightheartedly stupid and amazing. Bumper cars, right?
Bumper cars.
Yeah, why not?
So earlier you were talking about how it seemed like Leanne and I had known each other for a really long time, but like while you were going to get your alcohol, we were talking about how like we only communicate like in blurbs.
Yeah, because it'll be different. Like I'll chat and then it'll be like, I don't know, tomorrow or whatever later.
Yeah. She'll send something like super really long and thoughtful. And I
send long messages.
Well, no, that's fine. Like usually I do, but I don't text at 1 a.m. So she sends these like super long, like super thoughtful messages. Hey, I hope you're doing okay. And here's all of the information that we need for this one anthology that we're working on. And it's all like super sweet. And like I read it and I'm like, oh, and like it's like wonderful. Like it makes me feel like way better. And I'm like, okay. So that's how we communicate.
all right.
We met for dinner once.
Yeah.
I should look up. I don't know. I just started applying for conventions here. So once I get like my feet wet, then I'm like, okay, I should see like what's in Arizona, and I don't know. I don't know if New Mexico's gonna be too long of a drive for me.
Phoenix,
but Arizona's
totally I don't know what the Phoenix event's called these days, but Phoenix is usually
Fan Expo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But does it keep changing names?
It once was called the Phoenix Comic-Con. Way back when last time I was there. It'd be interesting for me to go back now. It's been a long time since I've been part of that community, so it's just like it'd be cool to go back to visit it, but I wouldn't be part of it anymore, which is good and bad. I think, but I did enjoy Phoenix. Done San Diego. San Diego's awesome. It's big though.
Never have gone as either to San Diego.
Yeah.
I went to Lightbox Expo that's why Leanne and I met up.
Yeah.
I went to Lightbox Expo in I can't remember.
Pasadena,
yeah.
I think so.
That was amazing. Yeah. I freaking love that expo.
That's cool. Well, no, but
see if they're doing it this year. I don't know.
They are.
Yeah.
They're doing it in person this year. I'm gonna go. I'm so excited.
I
don't know how I'm gonna go.
I'll have to look
August and September, I think.
I think next year for me is when I start wandering again. Is when I seriously start wandering again. We are coming to the edge of the pandemic. I'm still figuring out this freelance lifestyle artist stuff. I think though I'm going to get what I want. Like I had one of these like really stupid this was another eureka moment, but on a different level. When you start freelancing as an artist, in the back of your head, you're like, what if I fuck this up? Where do I go from here? But eventually you gotta kind of come to like a point where you're like, nope, I'm just gonna fucking do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to succeed because I'm awesome. And maybe you don't say it quite that way, but just inside you've just developed the confidence after everything you've done that you're like, you know what, I can do this. And then suddenly it becomes easier.
So conventions are the only time where my social anxiety is just like, just kidding, we don't exist. So I always have like a portfolio and I'm like, walk up to these people and like, hey, check it out. And they're like, whoa. And I'm like, watch out for the nudes on page 12. But yeah.
It's like, I'd be like, wait, there's nudes? Let me see. Right? It's like,
right? But yeah, cons are networking for me. Like making money is great, but like networking, I'm just like, hi, speak to me. Tell me more give me your email. Slide into your DMs later.
Like the way you're saying that. Slide into your DMs.
Slide into your DMs. Tell me more about the comic book that you're getting ready to publish. Do you need alternate artists for the covers?
You actually scare me a little bit. It's awesome. You actually scare me just a little bit. Just a little bit. You have Abby, actually both of you do. You both have incredible imaginations, but I almost want to see what's behind those eyes and what you see, how you see the world there, Miss Abby, because there's a lot there and I can kind of see it. I can see it.
Seriously,
it's
that's
all
what
monster porn.
Said. Like slide into my DMs later, everybody. Like, you will leave me alone. I'll make sure of it.
It's not true.
No, probably not.
I don't know. Maybe she's not sending me the same stuff. So
no, Leanne.
I just don't think, Leanne, you scare easy either. You're not that. I don't feel like. Yeah, I don't. I feel like they have to be.
I don't know if there's been like. I'm trying to think if there's actually been like a situation where I've like. I don't know if there has been.
Well, Leanne, you're completely different from me. Like, I think that honestly, that freaked me out a little bit because you are such an extrovert. Like, you are such an extrovert and you always have all of these billions of things that you're working on and people that can just kind of like, you say social anxiety, but I don't like quite believe that.
Oh, it's just that it's back here, you know.
Okay.
It's at 2 a.m. and I'm lying in bed and I'm like, oh my God.
People that don't operate off of social anxiety freak me the fuck out because everything that I do, like if I get super depressed and I'm like, oh no, I can't do this anymore. Like I need to sit down or lay down. I'm going to sleep for the rest of the day. Like I'll lay down for 2 minutes and then my anxiety is like, nuh-uh. If we don't do this, if we don't get up and start doing things, then we need to like my anxiety drives me. So Leanne is just like such a different person in that she's an extrovert and she's always got like these, you always had these parties going, like when I met you, like there's always something
right before COVID. So
yeah,
like a couple months before COVID.
Like right before COVID. So it's just like, it was so interesting to like actually like talk to you in person, because I was just like, what the fuck is going on? Like she's doing all kinds of things that like, no, I'm not leaving my house. Like I'm here for dinner because like I wasn't going to have dinner otherwise.
No.
And also,
you gotta eat, right?
Like, but then she like drove for like 2 hours to like just come and have dinner with me. And I was like, no, if anybody had done that, like I do it for you now because you've done it for me. But like for somebody else, I just like be like, oh, that's quite a drive. And I
think I definitely like, yeah, if it was somebody who I was like iffy about, I'd be like, no, you were good, you know? Yeah.
No.
I'm somewhere between you. I'm somewhere between both of you.
For me, it actually goes you, Abby, me. So you're on the.
Okay, so I'm between the both of you in this because I for me it's not so much that I get anxious. It's just that there's a point I need to recharge. Like there's a point when I'm around people, I have a certain degree of empathy. Like I'm an empath. I kind of feel all the emotions around me. There just kind of gets to a point where I hit like an overload point, and just like, okay, I need to disengage for a while because it drains me, right? But because I have such a big mouth and I do a podcast like this, I don't have a lot of the introversion of being shy. I'm not really shy, right? I just speak my mind and let it go. I don't worry about it, and that's so it's just for me. It's just like I don't have a true extrovert tends to feed off the energy around people. I can do that to a point. But then after a while, again, all the mental things I pick up from people, that can get to me. And then I need to unplug and I need to I can get overwhelmed. So I'm just like an introverted extrovert. I've learned how to be an extrovert, but I'm naturally like more of an introvert at heart. I don't know, just one of those things. But I think I'm somewhere between you, because I would go to dinner for somebody if I really was comfortable. I think I do have that in me, but I don't have the stamina to do that all the time. And Abby right. So I get to the point with you where it's like, it's not anxiety exactly for me. It's just more like, you just need to walk away. And maybe just because I'm slightly older / wiser / crazier, I don't do anything. I just like, fuck it. I don't need to do anything today. Right. I'm okay with that. Right. I just don't make it a pattern, because then I'm just a lazy fucker. Right. So.
Yeah, I sometimes wonder what I'd be like if I wasn't anxious.
Why are you so anxious? Just a natural anxiety, or just is there?
Probably. I don't know. A lot of things
now you're on the spot.
Yeah.
No. You don't have to answer if you don't want to. It's just a curiosity.
So I'm extremely, extremely empathetic. Extremely empathetic. I can feel things. I can see body language, and that kind of became like a negative pattern in that, like, I will try and read a room. I became a perfectionist. I try and read a room. I try and expect things beforehand, which is why it's hard for me to like hang out with people, because I want to know what's going to happen so that I can prepare for it and answer correctly. So that has created just like a vicious circle of anxiety, because like here, like I could have been anxious about like this, like just because I've done virtual for so long. Like honestly, I'll probably log off this call and just like cry. Honestly, like seriously, honestly, I will log off of this call and cry, because I am like, it's draining for me to try and like maneuver the situation. So it like I said, it's just like a black hole of like things that are happening. I can't like see what you guys are thinking. Like I don't know what exactly, like we have a great back and forth, so that's good for me, and I feed off of that. But like if it was otherwise, like if it wasn't such a good back and forth, I'd be like, this is fun, and then just never do it again, ever.
I'm like amazed at how you can like you're keeping like really still, because I'm like, I have to move. Like, I don't know if
me still?
Yeah, you're pretty still compared to me.
No, it's because my camera's cut off, dude. Like I'm moving everywhere.
Wait, your camera fixed?
Yeah,
oh man, that's just
gesturing off the camera, but on the camera, like
gesturing off camera.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm the one that can be still. I think I'm the stillest one of the three of us.
Yeah.
Actually.
So for me, that's my way of like making sure that people think that or know that I'm harmless is to be able to gesture, and like it also like, because I know I can be like deadpan sometimes, and I think that's a product of like my family and stuff. Like we didn't do emotions very well, so I can be really deadpan. So like gesturing is my way of like communicating and being able to like, let people know that I'm not going to hit them.
Okay.
Yeah, I do a lot of thought spiraling where like have like whole conversations that don't happen in my head, so I can kind of feel like what you're saying, like you have to plan it out, but it's not actually helping like in any way.
It never helps.
It's hard to like.
It never helps.
It feels like it's helping in the moment.
Yeah.
Because I do it too to some degree, although so I'm going to make this offer. Would you two like a suggestion about this that might help you both?
No.
It might. Okay.
I mean, you can tell me, but I won't listen.
Okay. How about you, Leanne?
I do that sometimes. I mean, I don't have to do it, so
No, you don't have to do anything. I tell you, I'm like, but actually, that's actually the whole of the secret. Honestly, about 6 years ago, my teeth were all busted here. And I was coming to terms with some demons. I went to fix my teeth about 6 years ago. And there was a particular friendship that kind of fell apart. They crossed a line unintentionally with me, and it kind of shattered my trust in them. Once you lose trust in the person, you lose the friendship. If it doesn't get repaired or rectified or talked about in any way, you just lose it. It just happens. And I was really bad about this, but this was a month of various people treating me terribly. And I realized that the common denominator was me. So I asked myself a really hard question, and this is the part that might help you. I had this really big epiphany of, I realized something very important. At the end of the day, people do exactly what they want to do no matter what. And that actually freed me, because what it did was, now the only real question is, are people doing what they want because they choose to do it, or do their wants control them? And for everybody, that's a different answer. But it really doesn't matter. They're doing what they want to do. So, and the thing is, once I realized that by and large, most people aren't malicious. They're sometimes oblivious, but they're not actually in themselves malicious. So most of the time, there are exceptions, but most of the time. So this made me stop worrying about other people's reactions, because I'm realizing that they're just doing what they want to do. So it gave me the freedom to do what I wanted to do. And that was the whole secret. And once I realized that, it's far more easier for me to forgive people. It's also easier for me to call them out on their bullshit now. So really, right? It's also far easier, because now I'm coming at it. I'm not coming at it from trying to read a room perfectly. I'm just looking at what they're doing and figuring out what they want to do. I keep it really simple. I don't worry about the rest. I don't need it to be a perfect conversation. And I'm open enough to acknowledge that even with what I've done, I still don't have a perfect understanding of the person. But I don't need to have that perfect understanding of the person. All I really need to do is acknowledge what they're doing. And the fact is, again, going back to something I said earlier, I don't have to cooperate. I also don't have to stop them either, right? Live and let live. And once I've got that in there, most of my anxiety with dealing with other people went away. I still have moments. A time like this, for sure, you definitely have those when you're isolated. You definitely get into those situations where you have those conversations in your head. But what I realize is it's a control mechanism. It's a sense of wanting control of the situation. And the truth of the matter is, it doesn't really matter if you have control of the situation. It's irrelevant. The situation is. So you can just accept, if you can accept it, and you can accept the fact that they're going to do what they want to do and you're going to do what you want to do, what want are you serving? Right? And that's the real question. Are you serving? And that's it. And what want are they serving? What want are you serving? If you want to do something, you're going to do it. If they want to do something, they're going to do it. And if you can accept that, you can almost walk away from everything with a perfect understanding. You'll piss some people off. You will piss some people off when you do that, though, because what you've done now is you're not playing the game anymore. You're just giving people what they want. But what you've done now is you've stripped away their excuses. I'm not interested in changing your beliefs. I will take your excuses away. I'm not interested in stopping you. I'm going to take your excuses away. I'm going to show you what you're doing sometimes if I have to. And that's how I protect myself if I absolutely must. But to the rest of it, I just live and let live, right? And I don't worry about it anymore. Now, Abby, that may not help you right now, and maybe you won't care, and that's fine. You'll do what you want. Leanne, right? This may help you, or it may not. You'll do what you want. And either way, love you both. Right? So.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if it's applicable to the way that I like thought spiral or not, and I'm not sure. I don't know.
You're trying? Mine is like intentional, like attempting to problem solve ahead of time. And like I understand what you're saying, and I feel like my therapist probably told me the same thing. But it's like the way that you kind of describe it sounds a lot like you're like, oh, done. And I'm like, okay, so I'm on like year 7 of therapy, and it's still something that I have to remind myself. Like I still have to remind myself where I'm like, I'm a perfectionist. That's why I'm freaking out about this. That's why I feel like I need to do this, and I need to do it perfectly. And to a point, like I can control that, but also like it's so ingrained in me. Like I was actually talking to somebody about this a couple of weeks ago. Like, you ever have that food that you tried as a kid and now you still can't get it out of your head? So when I was younger, like maybe like 5th grade or something, I went over to my friend's house. We were having a sleepover and we were making chocolate chip cookies. We read the recipe wrong and put in an entire cup of salt. To this day, I still am like revolted by the smell of chocolate chip cookies. I love chocolate chip cookies. I love them. So my question to like something like that, where you feel like you can just turn something off like that, is like, so you get like abused as a kid, and as an adult, they're like, oh, just deal with it. Just go to therapy. Just start taking this drug or whatever. And you're like, okay, it's that easy. When it's like, you remember that kielbasa made you throw up as a 3-year-old. Like you remember that the cookies were disgusting as a 5th grader. Like
may I offer a friendly rebuttal to this? I'm going to have a rebuttal. It's not what you think. I am not saying this is easy at all. There's a difference between easy and simple. People
then may I suggest the way that you describe it to people, if you are trying to offer a solution, is to not say it so that you are making it seem like it's easy. Because the way that you said it to me personally made me feel like, oh, okay, I should just be able to just turn it off.
No, well, like I said, let me finish my rebuttal. Right? Let me finish my rebuttal. A lot of this stuff that I figured out, you have to understanding your wants is an incredibly complex thing, because there's not just one want happening. It's many wants happening, right? You want the problems. Again, perfectionists ultimately want a sense of control. That's right. There's a bit of a link between those two things. And facing the fear of not having control is not an easy thing at all. Understanding what that is simple. The simplicity doesn't come. Most simple things do not come easily. They come after a lot of internal hard work and understanding what it is you are dealing with. In my case, I recognized that I had a problem with how people were treating me, and that the problem was me, and I was ready to deal with and solve it.
I'm ready to deal with and solve that I can't stand the smell of chocolate chip cookies.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fucking tired of it. I want to be able to eat a chocolate chip cookie without thinking about that experience.
Okay. So,
aren't we supposed to be talking about comics?
We can talk about this is the way this show goes. We talk about everything. I have talked about PTSD. I've talked about glitter. I've talked about stone flies. Like I actually was
editing. Is depressing me. Can we change the subject?
We can totally change it. It's fine by me. It's right. It's totally fine by me. We can go somewhere.
I love the shirt.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I love the
galaxies.
Space.
Oh, I'm just noticing your necklace because it was kind of blending in earlier. I thought it was,
so polite. Nice. It's glass.
Beauty.
But it makes me feel better, so that's all that matters.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the shirt of?
It's just space.
Planets.
Space.
Yeah. The final frontier.
It is the final frontier. Mine's from a concert I went 2 years ago.
Pizza!
Yes.
That's better.
Yes.
I have a shirt that says push-ups now, pizza later.
That's fantastic. What kind of pizza?
Pepperoni.
Oh, like exercise push-ups.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't exercise. I really should. So my brain is like, wait, what?
Exercise? What's that concept?
Exercise? What's a push-up? Like picking up books or what? Like,
well, I was thinking like bras.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I have those too.
It was a shirt.
So bras are stupid.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know. I've never had to wear one.
Try some out.
You should try
them. Maybe. I don't know if I got the boob size for it. I don't know what would actually work.
That's
for me.
A cup, buddy.
Totally A cup. Totally an A cup. Okay.
Yeah. You do what you want.
I do.
Just know that once they get bigger, it's harder to find ones that fit correctly, that aren't like $900.
You said I wouldn't know because I've never had to worry about that.
There was a period of like a week, maybe, or like 7 days, that I post very angrily on Facebook about how men only have to buy boxers, whereas like you go to get like sized, and the women are like, "Oh yes, you're probably this size," and it's like probably like. You're defining like $150 for me right now. What size am I?
It's like, yeah, no, I like there are situations where I do envy women, but there are situations where I don't. This is one of the situations.
Yeah.
Between bras and high heel shoes, I don't envy you guys.
Oh, dude, high heel shoes are a fucking power move, though. If you can run in high heels, oh man, dude, every time I feel like I need to flex to somebody, I'm like, I can run in high heels. They're like,
well, yeah. I mean, it's impressive. I've seen it a few times. You know, I think the most impressive thing I remember back in my younger days going to the bars, and again when I was in Calgary, minus 30 women wearing like just like their hot dress and not much else outside, and you're like, how are you doing? Like, no, this was just one of those things in my life. I was looking at this like, I know you want to look hot and impress somebody. Why out here? Why not just bundle up and then take it off?
That's why you're just a slut in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
No, see, that's why I like it here. It's always hot.
Oh yeah, exactly. So okay. I have a way better understanding of California now.
Well, I was always cold, even like on the North Coast. Like it would get to 60.
Oh God, it's like 21 degrees here right now.
Yeah,
I
don't
hate
like
you both.
cold.
It's minus 12 right now here.
No, it's minus 12.
Guys, we just had a frost and it's like 50 right now, and I'm
Oh my
cold.
God.
I have my heater on.
Oh my God.
No, it's understandable because no. So,
but I've been here for like 8-9 years, and so I'm used to it being like, because I'm in a desert, but we're in a desert where it doesn't like get really. It can get really cold like
I'm
1 or 2
in
nights,
the
but that's like
desert too,
it.
Leanne.
Yeah, but you're in a. So like Joshua Tree, which is the high desert from us, they can get snow. They can get like a foot of snow.
Yeah.
And stuff, but we don't really get that. We actually had snow like on our little teeny mountain, but it was like a very small amount of snow the other day, and that's it. We had like our one freeze night, and yeah. So if it's under 70, I'm cold.
No,
well, I feel that way right now. So yeah, and he's about to tell us how much snow is outside of his house right now.
I wasn't going to do. I wasn't going to
tell.
I wasn't going to do that. Actually, I understand why it's cold. Like when Leanne gets cold, because I lived in Phoenix. So when it was during the summer, it was like 120.
102.
Oh no! A couple days. I was walking out there. It was 110, 115, 120.
No extreme temperatures, please.
No what?
No extreme temperatures at all, please.
No, that was the summer. So when it got to the fall, where it was 70 or 60, you were cold. Like you were legitimately cold, because what happens is your blood thins. So when it actually gets down to like 70, 60, 50, you actually feel it. It's like, why am I feeling cold? Like cool. I wasn't like cold exactly, but I was feeling cool.
Yeah, and then you put a little sweater on or sweatshirt or whatnot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It was weird. And then the other thing I'll never forget in my life, you want to talk about snow? It did snow in Phoenix one time. I'd never seen snow just integrate 20 feet above me. Like literally, as snow was coming down, it was so hot that it just disappeared. It was like I had never seen that in my life. Growing up in Canada, like you see snow, it just falls, and there's not like it's gonna fall. There's gonna be ice everywhere. You're gonna slip and slide. Like fuck that noise, right? Phoenix, No. You'll see a little moisture maybe when you hit the ground, maybe a little bit, and you're like, how the hell does that happen? It was cold enough up there. Yeah.
Huh?
So
I didn't hear what you said.
Oh, I said fuck that noise.
Oh, yeah.
I was just parroting.
Oh.
What's your average temperatures out there?
Oh, well, we had one summer where it was 135 for a week.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck?
We're always usually a little bit higher than Phoenix.
Mm-hmm. Nobody ever talks about that. Like anytime we see the news here, it's like, oh, Phoenix is on fire. Mm-hmm. And it's like 120 degrees in Phoenix. Nobody ever tells us about California except for like when you guys do baby reveals.
Yeah. Well, this is just very specifically like my area, like Palm Springs, because the rest of it is not. I mean, San Diego is great. Like, well, I don't know. San Diego probably right now I would be cold in San Diego because I'm used to this desert weather. But, San Diego's like nice 70, 80.
If I was living in California, it would be San Diego. I hate LA. I absolutely hate LA. So
I liked flying over.
Yeah.
It was pretty. Yeah. It's pretty to fly over at night.
Yeah. Well, I imagine it is. I ended up at the Greyhound station in LA one time. That was
fun. Yeah.
Yeah, that was
gross land travel.
Yes. Well, I just
land travel.
Land travel.
I've had bad experiences with trains. My mom put us on a train and only gave us flavored water.
Wait, how long was the train? I feel like it was probably too long.
We had to go to Chicago, so about 10 hours.
Oh yeah.
That's yeah.
Yeah, you want a meal at least.
Yeah, a meal would be good. Money would also
be good.
Flavored
water, nah. That doesn't like quench my thirst at all. I don't like flavored water.
I don't the flavored water either. Actually, I think it actually feels wrong on every level.
It does. I'm like, why is this sweet?
I actually really liked the bubbly for a while, but the the bubbly like the brand bubbly water.
Oh.
Yeah. I know I had to clarify that. I was like, wait, okay. But the carbonation can still be like a little bit bad for your voice, and I was starting to have some problems, like notice some discomfort singing. So I was like, okay, we're gonna cut this out. I cut out coffee for like 4 months, and now I'm back on it. So.
I cut out coffee. Period.
That's still my bad habit of choice is coffee. I still enjoy it.
It's hard.
I can't. I have panic attacks.
Yeah, that's why I wasn't getting panic attacks, but I was getting like more. I don't know. My chest was like moving too fast, so that's like I stopped it for a while.
But yeah, caffeine seizures.
I gotta stop it again.
I'm pretty fortunate. I don't have any major anything really. I'm still pretty healthy as a horse, so it's good.
I'm healthy. I'm just high strung.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, everybody, if it works for you, it's all that matters, right? So,
is that a music thing? Is that like? I was just thinking about that like phrase. Like, where does that come from? And it must come from like over tightening something on a, I don't know, guitar, violin, whatever.
High strung, so would be like sharp instead of flat. I guess high strung.
Well, I'm just thinking if you string something too tight, it can break.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
I don't know if that's. Yeah.
No. That is what the
that's what's gonna haunt my dreams tonight. Thank you.
Sorry, not my intention. No.
It's okay.
Yeah. No, it's okay. I'll probably.
I'm just interested when I think about a phrase, and I'm like, wait, I've never like thought about where. Like, why do we say this? You know?
Thing.
Yeah.
I don't think about stuff like that. I'm not a writer. My sister does most of the writing for the comic that we're working on together. But like sometimes we have conversations about it. But after those conversations, I'm like, yeah, that was fun. And she's like, I'm gonna go write now. And I'm like, okay, cool. I'm gonna draw.
It makes it sound like we're all angry writing.
No, not angry, just passionate.
Oh, okay.
It depends these days. Sometimes I got like the matter of fact business writing. If I'm writing for a client, it's like I have a certain like, okay, this is what I'm writing. How can I make this fun? And I do that. Writing for myself, I do as much amusing stuff to make myself just a lot of stuff I put in my writing. I do to amuse myself just because it's just how I do it. I like the joy of discovery, but I also bore easy. So I just kind of just try to have some fun. It's also a good distraction when I pulled the rabbit out of the hat too. So.
Did you just have
That's not literal, right?
No, not little rabbit out of the hat. No.
Okay.
Not literal.
Who?
What the fuck is going on?
Okay, what did you guys hear? What did you guys hear?
Rabbit-dabba-da.
No, I said
rabbit. Oh, no, it's a rabbit out of the hole.
No, rabbit out of the hat. That's what I said.
Oh, out of the hat. Sorry.
Oh,
yeah, rabbit out of the hat.
My brain just like shut down for a minute there, apparently.
Yeah.
I thought maybe there was something with the audio.
That's why I asked. Like, what did you guys just hear, right? Because of that because it might have been the audio. It's like, what did it just cut off on? Right?
Yeah. Actually, Abby, you just froze for a second on my side.
Yeah. So.
Oh, you guys have been freezing for me the entire time. You're not frozen right now, but like
no. From my end, you've all been good up until like just this minute. Like you did freeze for just one little second there, Abby, but that was it. So
Abby, are you allowed to talk about your upcoming comic?
Kind of. I don't know. I guess it depends on the questions because we're kind of talking about it. But because we're developing it and it's such like it's a very intricate story. So I'm just trying to, depends on the questions.
Okay. Well, then, do you guys want to shift it to like a little bit of comic talk? I asked Leanne this question.
Yeah, we can talk about Cthulhu, like because that's live
we're
now.
Gonna talk about Cthulhu, but I have a question for you both before we get deep into the stuff you're working on together.
Okay.
Right, as Abby dances away. Here's the thing. How did you guys? Okay, Abby, I get the impression like you've drawn your whole life. When did you make the decision to leap for it? Like, was there a story, a book, a picture, a comic, something that made you go, I want to do this?
Several points. So the thing that got me interested and like into comics, I think there's probably about 3 points. So one was I came across, like, I'm looking at certifications on LinkedIn Learning because I'm a title collector, and if you can get certificates somewhere and then display them, I'm like, fuck yes. So LinkedIn Learning, if you complete a course, you get a certificate. So I'm looking through all these courses and I'm like, oh, fucking boring. Like, this is all industry, like corporate, whatever the hell stuff. I'm like, oh, comic books. That's awesome. So I went through all of it, and it was actually like, not actually, like, it was really informative and really like spoke my language in art in general, because I'm a very, like, I don't know if you can tell, but I'm a very expressive person. So it kind of was like a natural kind of like lead in for me, because I felt like my art was kind of like blah. Like, people were always like, oh, I could see your soul in your art. And I'm like, I don't draw any other expressions except for this one. And they're like, oh, well, but it's amazing. And I'm like, I don't like this. I want to challenge myself. So I started like looking at comics, and I really liked the way that like you're able to tell a story. And then I kind of learned like what comes from them, and like all the different things that go into comics. And then I kind of like was looking at animation to like make my movements in my comics better. So so that was one of them. I completed that course, and it was by Ben Bishop, who does the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. I think you know him. Does the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle comics. And then I don't know what I was doing. I was probably drunk on Twitter, and I saw I was like, all right, let's look for jobs, and like Illustrator. I think I looked for Illustrator or something like that. Or maybe I looked for comics. I don't even remember what I searched, but then Leanne's thing came up, and we were talking, and I was like, this probably isn't legit, but whatever. And
you never know on Twitter, right? I mean,
talking to like one other person, but I'll get back to you. And I'm like, cool, see you never. And then she got back to me. So I was like, oh, now I actually have to learn comics. And so I like actually like started studying it. And then I think we got through the first Cthulhu thing, or we were in the middle of working on the Cthulhu thing. I was already kind of like working on my own little personal thing, and I don't think I realized what I was working on. I was working on my own little personal comic, but I used that in my portfolio when I was like handing it to people, because I have no filter. I would just hand it to people at conventions, and they're like, what are you doing? Like, why are you handing this to me? Why aren't you working? And that was like, what the hell? And so that combined with, then I was able to hand my portfolio to Ben Bishop, and he was like, what are you doing? Why are you showing me this? Why aren't you working? And so like that culmination of things has kind of like throttled me into it. So that's my story.
Well, thank you, Ben Bishop.
So, right?
Yeah, why not? I mean, if it wasn't for Ben, you wouldn't be doing what you're doing.
No, absolutely, awesome. Absolutely. Ben Bishop, Skylar Patridge as well. She's a local comic book artist here. She's working on Wonder Woman and She-Hulk right now, I think. So, but she's always been super supportive of me and my work too. So between the two of them, and then all of my experiences, and Leanne not picking the other person, which is more than I can say about a lot of the guys I've dated, has just been great for me.
All right. You have no filter whatsoever. Which is part of your charm. Right. So I think I've asked you this question last time you were on the show, Leanne. So I'll ask you this. Yeah, I know I did, if I recall that. But
I have a terrible memory, so like really bad.
It's all good. But so I'm not going to ask that for you. What I'm going to ask instead is, you're doing more stuff. Like, you are seem like you're getting more and more out there. So I guess for lack of a better term,
feels slowly. I don't know.
Well, no, I mean, Russell does amazing Kickstarters. Like, he really, really does. He might be the most efficient Kickstarter I've ever backed. I backed one of his Kickstarters last year. I got my stuff within a week. Like compare. No, he is one of the most efficient, like direct. He's like, I do not know if me and Russell would actually legitimately be friends. We are very different people, but I respect his passion. He is one of the most passionate, prepared, uber talented guys in the industry, and I don't think a lot of people just realize how much he's grown as a creator. Like he's really good at what he does, and to actually get on one of his anthologies is actually a pretty big deal, right? So I mean, you've gotten him out there a lot more, which is kudos to you.
Thanks. Yeah, I think that we came, well, what was it, like 2020 was when Cthulhu 2 came out on Kickstarter, and 2019 was when we were doing the art, I think, right? Or maybe it was end of 2018?
2018.
Yeah, okay. So we had it finished up because, like, you know, all these things take a lot of time on the back end.
That holiday season was fucking traumatic. Sorry, go ahead.
Wait, the 2018? Yeah. Oh, yeah, no, because it was like over Christmas. Yeah, I remember.
That was so traumatic. Anyway.
Oh. We got it all good, though. So. Oh, my God, I lost my train of thought. Where was I going with this? So, I mean, like, I think Russell had been doing stuff for maybe 6-7 years at that point. And I know he's put out like a lot more like since then too, but he'd already been like in the game for quite some time, you know.
Oh no, he's done a lot. Like he's an interesting cat. Like I like.
So I didn't know him like when he was just like
no,
you know, or yeah.
But I mean, again, same thing. It's still a hell of a compliment being one of his anthologies, right? So I mean, did he ask you or did you pitch?
Oh, I said we pitched, but I pitched, but I think I showed Abby the pitch first too, because I was just like, hey, I just want you to know, does this look like okay, and you know, not something you would totally hate to actually draw. So.
Well,
I mean, I didn't have a script; it was just the idea. But
no, it's all good. Sometimes, like if it's a good enough idea, you definitely get like I've pitched. At this point, when I pitch the magazines and stuff, I don't actually have the article written. I just pitch the idea. Right. Yeah. Because I just feel like there's no point in writing something unless you're sure you're going to get money for it. At least when it comes to freelance writing, it's just one of those things where I realize that if I write something for a particular place and I submit it and I don't get it, right, I can't just retailor those kind of articles to other magazines. I might be able to submit to other niches here and there, depending on what it is. But as a general rule of thumb, if I'm writing for a particular magazine, it's for a particular niche. Yeah. So if I don't,
that's a little different than doing like a flash fiction.
Oh no, flash fiction. Fiction's a different animal altogether, right? Because there's just so many options, right? You can go to you can do small presses, you can do large magazines, you can do yourself. There are like ways of doing it yourself to make it quite profitable as well. It really it really depends on what serves you, right? In fiction, when I'm writing for a particular magazine or to a particular niche, I can only submit within those niches.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I was right. So I'll have I have a pretty good batting average on pitching. It's not 1,000, but it's better than the average first baseman in baseball. So I'm proud of that. But it's one of those things like I've learned is that you don't you can pitch concepts all day. It's when you get them in, they're good, right? And that's very much a real like genuine thing I do. It's actually a good strategy because if you get a no, well, you don't have to write it now. It saves you time to do the next thing, right? So I hope that makes sense, right?
Yeah, no, it's not always a bad thing. I don't know. Did you ever ask me the actual question though?
The question was like, how did you actually get in? You answered it. You pitched.
Oh, okay.
Right? You pitched.
Right. That was the question. Yeah.
Right. You pitched and you got in. And
I have not yet reached being asked status.
Yeah.
So
you'll get there. You'll get there, and it'll be cool when you do. It's flattering.
Right?
Although I will warn you, it is sometimes suggesting that you still might get a no at the end of the journey. Anthologies are a tricky beast in the sense that the content everybody submits kind of can shape the anthology, right? I submitted, but it's not always a bad thing either. I did a Alice in Wonderland Greek mythology mashup for an anthology, and it didn't get accepted, so I published it myself. It did okay. I can't really argue with the results there. But again, fiction has that unique aspect where if you don't find it doesn't fit the place you want it to go, you can do it yourself and still build on what you're building on, right? So it's not necessarily a lose-lose if you don't get the no. So
yeah, I've been thinking of putting my rejected super short fiction pieces up on Medium because I haven't put anything up on there in forever.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
Because when they're written like for a prompt, it can be hard. I mean, like reusing prompt pieces can be a little bit trickier. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you can find somewhere to slot them in, but not always,
No.
Or it might be like years, and I'm like, I don't feel like waiting years. So
no, I don't blame you for that either.
Yeah.
I don't. No. Like that's the thing. Like traditional publishing is slow today compared, by and large, compared to some of the other sources out there. So it's like, do you want to wait that long? Sometimes, but very often than not, no.
Well, if it was accepted and they said it wasn't going to be published, that's one thing. But like waiting years to find somewhere for it to be published.
Yeah. In the actual fiction market, that's still a big thing, unfortunately. Which is So not to so Abby doesn't fully fall asleep on us over there.
No, I'm fine.
Yeah,
I don't understand.
Well, publishing has evolved to such a point that there's just a myriad of options and places to go, right? And we're just talking about like just a little bit how fiction is different from nonfiction in some ways, and also just the fact that Leanne might just make the coolest.
Like I can see the eyebrows. Yeah.
Fiction is different from nonfiction
insofar as how you publish it and who and how. Yeah. The process is
the process can be very different and wonderful. And
I don't do nonfiction because I couldn't get into it.
It can be actually sometimes more fun. It depends on what it is, right?
I mean, couldn't get into somebody else's voice, so I was like, oh, it wasn't working for me.
No, it's fair. It's not for everybody, right? It's not like it's legit. It isn't, but it can be a lot of fun because you can learn cool shit. And it's kind of a blast to do cool shit. But my question for Abby is this: I'm almost afraid of the answer because it could be some form of horror porn. But what's your favorite thing to draw?
Movement.
Ooh.
But for subject matter, I don't know. It depends on the day.
Okay, that's fair.
I'm not confined by anything. I had never drawn a tentacle before, Leanne. Leanne, I've faked a lot through that Twitter message. Just want you to know that.
I do tentacles all the time.
It turned out great, so
it's working out for me so far. Make it till you make it. I like drawing tentacles now, though. I can draw tentacles super fucking well. So if anybody wants boobs and tentacles, slide into my DMs later. Starting at $100. Drawings, though. I don't have any costumes.
Wait, what?
Nothing.
I got lost there.
Nothing.
Don't worry about it. It's all good. It's all good.
Sometimes, I swear, I didn't get the lingo in high school. Somebody would be saying something, then my friends would be there like, you know what that means, right? I don't know. What are they doing? They're like, oh, that's like some dirty thing. I'm like, oh.
Well, I was telling him that I didn't know how to pronounce daiquiri until last year. So, there's that. Did I pronounce it right? I told somebody else that immediately after I told you, and he was like, how do you pronounce it? And I was like, how did you pronounce it? And I was like, daiquiri. And he's like, that's how you pronounce it. And I was like, I meant daiquiri.
It's all good. That's all good.
It's not like as common as it. I mean, like it's common enough, but it's not the most, I don't hear it asked for all the time. Not like I'm some sort of bartender. I've never been a bartender, but you know, I think I hear like Mai Tais more, and
we have a lot of breweries here, so it's mostly just beer and spirits.
Beer and spirit, which nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. No, like it's all cool. That actually could be like
drawing boobs though.
I'm gonna be honest. Boobs kicked my ass for a very long time.
Like
like how to draw them.
Yeah, just because yeah.
I got beat up by tits my entire life.
I wish. Anyways, no.
And here we are, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, I told you, I'm honest. I'm an honest guy, right? But you know, it's one of those things where, but no, when I was learning how to, like, I've been teaching myself how to draw, and I've been drawing with very cool people, and I'm getting to draw with more cool people. Like tomorrow, I get Mel, Maud Park's husband, is actually coming on the show to draw with me. I'm actually really excited about that. It's going to be a lot of fun. He's actually really good.
Rad.
Yeah, so I get to have some fun. And I do drink and draws on the show, and I get to like and
that sounds amazing. How do I do that shit?
We could talk about it.
I'll watch. I'll
You
let me know when you're doing it. I'll just watch.
But it's just again, just me. Just this is a visual medium now, right? So I can draw on the air, and I don't mind being the one that sucks. Although it's now start right. I don't like again. I drawing used to terrify me until I actually had this like really good thought. So what if it sucks? And I've had fun ever since. And it's been great. I've been drawing with some just amazing people. So the person that actually taught me how to draw boobs good was Bill Moss. So you know the comic Naira X? He dude, upside down heart. Like I said, romance authors, ruined me. Just completely ruined me. Because everything they said to me in that day just ruined completely. Also, though, secretly some of the sweetest people you ever meet. They are actually, in all seriousness, super underrated at what they do. It takes a lot of talent to tell a good story, even with that.
I cannot figure out how to write one of those stories. I can't. Like, I'm like, how many synonyms could I use here? I don't know. Not enough. Without it sounding like really cheesy. I wouldn't be able to do it justice. Yeah. I can do it.
The secret's fantasy. You're indulging a fantasy of some kind. You gotta play up on it. Really good writers do it really well. I had one friend of mine, Alyssa Palmer. She was able to she could do things with sock. She made a sock sexy, a sock of all things sexy. So it takes skill. It's one of those things. Like it's everybody knows what sex imagines what sex is. The challenge when you're doing a romance book is, can you stimulate that and tell a good story, right? And that right, both the story itself and those scenes that people are coming to watch. Can you create a good fantasy? If you can do that, people get what they want out of it. If you can't, right, then it's not going to be good. It's like best sex. The best sex usually involves some kind of foreplay because you're stimulating the fantasy elements of it as well. So you got to do the same thing in the book. You have to be able to play with those fantasies and kind of make them come true. And it's an art form. And like I say, it takes. Yeah. Like I said, I'm not shy. I'm really not that shy. So, it's one of those things.
You said I don't have filters, so I got to shut the fuck up on this one.
You don't go right ahead. You correct me if I'm wrong.
No,
correct me if I'm wrong. I'm good with it. Right. So,
I just think my writing is not it's good. I don't think I can do the romance though. I mean, I like to think my writing's good. I hope it's
Oh no, you're right.
Like,
I actually, you have a very amusing way of looking at the world. Like the way you look at it, the world is actually very, very unique, and I enjoy your concepts. Like, okay, so the vampire cat in your Kickstarter was like, I thought that was one of the most ingenious things I'd ever seen.
Oh.
No, I'm serious. I wish I had thought about it. I wish I had. It's incredibly smart. It's an incredibly smart concept. So you have an incredible imagination. You really do. And so I imagine that if your writing is half as good as your ideas, you're amazing. Like you are absolutely amazing.
Sometimes it is, but sometimes you're like, oh my God, this is absolute shit.
That's part of the process. Like it's all good until you put the pen to the page, right?
It's interesting because I can tell like something I wrote like 3 months ago, and then I wrote something else, and I'm like, yeah, this one like 3 months ago wasn't bad, but this one's definitely like, just like a little bit of like evolved from like where that last piece was. So it's just
yeah, because as you keep writing, you get better at figuring out the stories you like to tell, and it makes it and what happens is you grow, the depth of what you're telling, of the stories you're telling gets better. And and it's true, it's even with drawing, like there's layers to my first drawings, I look at my first drawings and I'm like, they're very, very simple. Nothing wrong with it. It's just they're very simple. As I've gotten better, I'm adding more details now to these drawings. There's still a long way to go where I would consider them good, but I look at what I did now versus when I started, and it's like, right? It's like, okay, I've come a long way. I still have a long way to go, and you see that, but you've come a long way. And it's true with any art. Like anything you do, the more practice you get at it, the better you get at it, and the more you can see.
Yeah.
So, all right. So I'm going to ask this thing, and then we'll get to the wrap up and the wonderful promo and stuff like that. And that's this. So your orientation. So is there like an actual like post-traumatic, like your story with the academy and the monsters and Cthulhu?
Talking about the orientation day?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, I think we're saying orientation day, not orientation. Like, anyways.
So orientation day. So did you have like an orientation day from hell? Because now to be perfectly honest, I was laughing at the end of this because it got silly in like the best ways. I was like, this was a comedy of errors to the point where I like the main character's like, fuck this, I'm out. So
I did not. I don't even like remember, because I went to community college and then another community college and then like a 4-year, which I wasn't there for 4 years at that point. I think I was there for like 3, because it was like 5 years total for me for college. But I was actually kind of like thinking of Buffy when I wrote that, and I was like, she kind of had like just a bunch of like these college like horrible just stuff happening in the episode. So that's where I was kind of like thinking of when I wrote it.
You just seem to get like the level up as each page was read. Like it's just like, this got weirder, even weirder. I'm out. Like there's just like that's literally it. It's like.
And we have a little cameo from the first one, very small cameo.
Nice. So, I should ask this then before we wrap up. Then is this this doesn't sound like your first project working together, or was this your first project working together?
No, this is
4 or 5, I think.
Yeah, Cthulhu in Wonderland comes out,
and then there was Neverland, and the first or second anthology with myself. So 4. This is our 4.
All right.
But I can't remember what order.
I don't know if Cthulhu in Wonderland happened yet.
Was 2. It was Cthulhu's Hard to Spell 2.
Yeah.
Neverland anthology, Cthulhu in Wonderland, and then this one.
Okay, yeah. So because I was like, I don't remember which one the art came for first on those between those two. So.
All right.
But this is on Kickstarter now.
So which is really cool. So this is my final question, then we get to promos.
Okay.
What have you two learned from each other?
Abby probably was the first one who was like, not too many panel telling me I couldn't cram too much on the page. I think I remember that from the first one.
Yeah, she'd try and put like 4 or 5 actions into one panel, and I was like, no, we can't do this.
We can do one.
Like I can try, but like if you want defining the panels for me, which is great. Like she's defining these panels for me, but she's like, this is a close up and we need to fit in 5 actions. And I'm like, no.
Slow it down. Just slow it. No, it's a common mistake. I did like my first few scripts. I did that too. It's like want to do this. No, doesn't.
And like at that time, I hadn't like read anything. Like I read like a little bit, but not very much about like how to properly, write a comic. Like very little, enough to get us like through.
Yeah, no, I think that we kind of flopped through that first one. What did I learn from Leanne? Probably restraint, because I don't have a filter, and there's a lot of times where like she'd send me a script and I'd be like my anger would be like, "Ah!" But like I need to like think about it and actually like redo it. So I think that with working with Leanne, I've learned how to like actually like give something and then expect to have it seen from another angle. I think that I went into it very like hard-headed, and it's given me a lot more lenience to working with people on how they view things versus how I view things. So yeah,
that's cool. That's really cool. So you guys gonna keep working together?
I got an idea. I have to send over tomorrow. I've been trying to think of something, and I think I might have got something.
Ooh.
But I have to look at what I already have like on the calendar, so figure out where it can go. But I think I have an idea. Like it's still a seed, so I gotta think about it more, and then I'll run it by you when I have more.
Ooh, well, good luck to that. I'm looking forward to see. Well, I thoroughly enjoyed your story. I actually, so I'll let you guys in. Let you guys in this little secret here. So right before we had our little conversation here, I had I actually, because you gave me the whole book, I actually talked to Russell. It's like, well, can I review the whole book for my column at First Comics? He's like, yeah, okay. So I'm probably going to say some nice things about you guys in that review. I'm just going to let you know that up front.
Sick. Well, that's good. Nice is better than mean things. So
I mean, I could say mean things, but Abby might come beat me, right? So I mean,
did you see what Russell said about me though? Like
the Dr. Seuss, yeah.
Yes, he said my artwork is like a haunted Dr. Seuss, and I was like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna embody that.
So that wasn't the idea I had too, because I had this idea like I don't know a week ago or something. And I'm just like been kind of like letting it sit there because ideas sometimes they have to do that and then they grow and whatnot.
No, I totally get it. You actually just made me. So one of the things I used to do one of the things I used to do before the pandemic happened, I would do what panel called a Dr. Seuss off. I bring a whole pile of Dr. Seuss books, and I get grown adults to read it. You have not lived until you've seen an operatic version of Cat in the Hat. And then you also get to see like people do a Rocky, like I've seen Valley Girl, Fox and Socks. I've seen Russian voice, Fox and Socks. By the way, Fox and Socks is a Russian voice. I'm serious. Read it in a Russian voice. It is.
I read it like I was on OnlyFans.
Yeah.
What's the one with the fish where they put the?
Oh geez. I had that one. I can't, off the top of my head, the title of it escapes me, but I know which one you're talking about.
But I kind of want to do like a rhyming horror comic now.
I actually.
I'm like, oh my god, how would I do this? Like, well, send me a link. I want to see.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. Yeah. No, I actually did a stick figure revolution, and I told it like a Dr. Seuss tale. I gotta get the cover. I actually will do the cover at some point and release it because.
Okay, this isn't out yet.
No, this isn't. No. But see, in my opinion, Dr. Seuss is if I would pick the 3 best graphic novelists of all time, he's on that top 3 list. Him, Will Eisner, and Jack Kirby are my 3 all time.
I wouldn't consider Dr. Seuss.
It depends.
But obviously, yeah.
So some of his books, if you actually put a thought bubble on his words, it works. It legitimately works. Because if you think of a graphic novel in terms of words and pictures telling a story,
right?
I don't know who does it better, honestly. Right? If that's your definition of a graphic novel, and if you look at like a traditional comic in terms of panels, gutters, pages, stuff like that, then no, he doesn't count. Right. But if you look at the fact that he writes and draws and tells a whole story with words and pictures, he's amazing. He's actually a genius. And it's actually kind of like my take on it. I've gotten a lot more respect for Seuss since I've watched people perform it over the years at these panels. So he's on my personal top 3. So, but I will actually, you just reminded me that I had that script, that comic in the back burner. So it's like I should probably just finish the cover for it and just go from there, because I can draw it now. So I definitely would. Crap, I got a comic I can release. Thanks, guys. I appreciate that. Just for having this conversation. Right. So, all right. Let's get to the promotional stuff. So, is the Kickstarter up, or is it done already?
It's live. It's like, what are we? This is.
I think we're day 4.
Third day.
I think we're almost at 17,000.
Yeah, I haven't checked it today. I saw it this morning.
If I checked every time I wanted to, I would just be on all day.
Yeah.
I like watching the numbers tick up. It's fun.
Let's see.
That was one thing, like, during the Kickstarter for me, like, when they wouldn't tick up, I'm like, okay, I got to close this, because it's like, it could be a couple hours. It could be, I don't know if I don't think I had I'm trying to think. There might have been one day where there was no uptick. But I was like, I can't just like sit here and wait for the numbers, because it's not going to like.
I found it. I did find it. Okay, so. For those people watching, listening, this is for them, because they'll come either watch it an hour later. So we had
there's the link. Hooray!
There you go.
It's official. Look, there's the link.
The link is there.
Click the link.
Okay, so we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this, Leanne first, and we're gonna conclude with Abby. Leanne, how can people find you?
Headlessgnomes.com or at headlessgnomes. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, which I'm not very good at being active on, but whatever. Yes. Yeah. Yes. I'm like, how do I spell my stuff? I don't know. I'm a writer. It's okay.
Yeah. Hey, I know great writers who can't spell. They still do amazing writing. So
I've been enjoying Wordle. It's fun.
Yeah.
Or at LK Ingino for Twitter, and at LK Ingino author for Facebook.
Okay.
I post my poetry there too, so it's a little different stuff. So.
All right, Abby, where can people find you if they want to get you to work for them and do stuff and tentacle porn and all that other fun
yeah,
stuff
boy.
Yeah.
Colorwired.com and Colorwired everywhere else.
Colorwired? Let's make sure I got this right, because I want to make sure. Like, did I do it right?
Yes. Colorwired.com.
All right.
There's no porn anywhere that you can see it.
There's no porn anywhere, at least visible. Ask for the special rate later.
There's no physical porn.
Okay. That's I've had fun with you two tonight. I hope you guys realize how much fun I've had. So it's time to wrap this bad boy up, because we all have things to do. But honestly, guys, thanks for coming and thanks for being a part of the show. It was a blast with both of you. So for those of you watching, this is my latest book release. This is called Alice 1. It's Alice in Wonderland in Greek mythology. Alice is Pandora. Alice chases the Queen of Hearts over the edge of the world, and she ends up in the Greek underworld, where to escape, she must play Jason of the Argonauts a game of croquet. In this Greek underworld, Alice and company encounter gods, monsters, and perhaps the most terrifying thing of all, themselves. Definitely check this book out. It's the second book of the series. The first one was Alice 0, which was nominated for an Elgin Award in poetry, written by yours truly, illustrated by Kenzie Carr. Support this channel. I will be back tomorrow with Mel. It's going to be great. And to everybody watching, everybody listening, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Stay inspired. Keep shining in the dark. And I will see you guys tomorrow.
Bye.